Hello, we're live, and we are now here with, oh, I guess I should really have had on my mask here just a minute. Let me see if I got this. It's about that time, you know. The funny thing is about how when you're wearing masks, if you notice that it's hard to understand when people are talking because it's a muffled, you don't realize how much you actually pay attention and watch people's lips and read their lips until you actually can't see their lips. And you're like, what? I can't understand it. And it was horrible. I went through Starbucks today, and I had to ask the guy 12 times. I still couldn't understand because he was just talking like this. You know, it's even worse than, plus you add the speaker system, and it was horrible. But this was a neat little mask that Gwen Auger had made. If you'll notice, it actually has like a little card on there, so you can have whatever that your card is, and she custom makes these for you. And it's got a place in the back which you can actually, it's got a little slit that you can put, you know, a little filter in there or something. And that, anyhow, she was with my guest a few weeks ago. So listen, I want to thank everybody, you know, for coming over here tonight. And I, first of all, want to thank Kitty, who is an assistant. You work with, I know, Lance Burton and with Keith West, and you are joining us from where are you located right now?
I am in Des Moines, Iowa, in the heartland.
Okay, in the heartland in Des Moines. That's great. Thank you very much, Kitty. And we're going to be talking a lot about illusions and box jumpers and kind of like what you're doing and have been doing then as well. And then coming from Marshall, Michigan, this is pretty exciting that we have with us the curator then of the American Museum of Magic, Mr. Jeffrey Allen over here. Hey, Jeffrey.
Hey, I'm on the board of directors. Our curator is off for the night. She's actually the director. I'm on the board, the executive
on the board. There. Thank you for correcting me.
I'm always here. You can find me somewhere.
You're always around someplace. And we'll get into that also about how people can get in touch with you to get a personalized tour perhaps then. And then direct from Austin, Texas, we have somebody who is the recipient then of the Academy of Magical Arts award for, what was that you got, Ray? That was the
fellowship.
A performing fellowship just last year, and well-deserved. And he was also the subject of an article in the last issue of Magic Magazine, just before they finally got him in, before that. And he's been with the Esther's Follies.
The very last one.
In Esther's Follies there in Austin, Texas for over 35 years. Please welcome my good buddy, Mr. Ray Anderson. Hey, Ray.
Hey, hi, everyone.
So glad that everybody is here. Thank you very much. This is Magic and Martinis virtual happy hour. We thank you guys. This is number 11. And tonight that I'm having, again, a little vodka martini and a couple of olives. What have you got there? Tell me first. What have you got, Kitty?
I have no idea. I'm used to drinking with the crew.
Yeah.
So this is my Jaeger. And this is a fancy little thing that Keith made me with some kind of weird flavored vodka for the occasion.
And Keith West is we say Keith West is the illusionist, and that you work with closely then as well. And what are you drinking over there, Ray? Ray?
I have a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. It's a twist top, so nothing fancy here, but it's enjoyable.
Yep. Great.
Thank you very much.
And Jeffrey, what have you got?
The new mug from the museum with clip
awesome.
art from the Abbott's catalog. We're able
You
to put
have
on yeah, there it is. But I'm drinking sparkling ice.
Sparkling ice. Very good stuff. Good for you. That's why you keep that trim figure.
I have to drive home tonight.
Yeah, you said you're an hour and a half away from there. So if you'll just kind of lift your glasses, I want to say welcome and cheers to everybody. Thank you very much. Get a good shot over there with everybody. So thank you guys very much for joining us. So let me take a drink here too. I am also would like to offer you, I've got some charcuterie over here. So this way, if you want to help yourselves during this time, I got some cheese and crackers that you might enjoy as well. So we'll be kind of digging into that as we go. So anyhow, a lot of exciting things we want to talk about that I mentioned then, Kitty, that you're working with Keith West. And before that, also, before all this came about, that when we kind of got shut down, you were also traveling then with Keith West and with Lance Burton and with Fielding West. It was the West twins, I guess. No relation, but so tell me a little bit about what was going on. What were your shows? What were you been doing?
Well, we did a lot of casinos, things like that. The Lance Burton and Friends show is a lot of fun. I'm in charge of all the props and I do the costuming. So from the time the truck pulls up to the time it drives away, I kind of do all the stage things. And I have Larry Dunbar who helps me out. And of course, we have Lance Burton, Master Magician. And we have Fielding West, Keith West, Michael Godot, fabulous juggler. We travel all over. We've kind of been at a halt at it now since Corona and everything, but we have reschedules for next year. So.
Well, that's great. Now, as far as were there other assistants aside from you? I mean, I know that you're a box jumper and you're the one who's kind of been in and out of all those. And the others, I guess, are they dancers or are they jumpers as well? Or are you the lead jumper?
A little bit of both. They're mostly dancers. They do illusions. Brandy's been in Keith West's show for years now. But they're both, well, there's 3 of them, and they're all trained dancers. Me, I am not. I took gymnastics. I move fast and I pack small.
I know some of the pictures I've seen of you, like on Instagram or or TikTok or whatever, where you're crawling out of an incredibly small space. Look like out of a little jack in the box, basically. I don't know how you can fit in some of these things. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was one of my Fit in It Fridays.
Fit in It Fridays. So do people send you challenges and say, hey, can you fit in this box?
Oh yeah, that's the worst thing to do to me. It's like, oh, you can't get up there, you can't get in that. Like, okay.
And Ray, I know that you have been working with assistants for all your career because you've been doing illusions and doing this, and you've had some wonderful volunteers. When I see you at Esther's Follies, tell me about some of the ladies that you've been working with.
Well, I've had lots of different assistants over the years. After almost 36 years, there's been a number. I don't just use one assistant always. It just sort of turned out that way with Alana Kelter, who was with me for over 10 years. And we just had such a great connection that she started doing most of the illusions. But I also use some of the other actors in the cast. I have the entire cast at my disposal, so why not use them? And then now I have a new girl who's working with me at Chelsea, Jernigan, who's wonderful, and she's been with the show right around a year, but she's fabulous. She's wonderful, and we're getting to know each other in a great way. But every time one of my other assistants leaves the show, it's always bittersweet. But
I'm sure that it is.
Alana Kelter are probably the 2 that most people will remember.
You had a lady who was working with you for some time. Didn't she have like kidney cancer or something? And you were raising money for her for a while? What was it?
That was Cynthia Wood, who was a longtime assistant for me. Cynthia was with the show a long time. She was there almost as long as I had been before she retired. But what she got was Lyme's disease. Yeah. And so she, it affects your nervous system, and it finally just got to the point where she was unable to perform. And so we did a big send-off and raised some money for her. She's doing quite well now, and good. And she is enjoying retirement from show business. Retirement from show business.
So does she come in from time to time to the shows and kind of enjoy?
Esther's is a big extended family, so even though you may leave the show, you never can really leave. So people that are in the Esther's universe usually come back and say hello. And we've had so many cast members over the years, but I guess it's just Shannon and I that are left from the old days. Shannon, her and Michael own Esther's Follies, and then me, who's been there for 35 years.
Right. And going over then to Jeff with you, I wanted to ask about some assistants. Are there some assistants that are famous in the museum, American Museum of Magic there in Marshall, that you have featured? Did you get my question?
I didn't. I didn't hear that. Can I just adjust my sound?
Yep, and as you're doing that, I'm going to go through and just kind of mention, because a few people, obviously a lot of people have jumped on here, goodness, that Mark Price, Paul Green, Sue Holstein, Paul Green, hey Scott, Mark Holstein, John Klein, and Pat Hazel, and Paul Green says, hi, Kitty. And Jerry Costello is watching, and also Paul Green says, hi, Jeffrey Allen. Jerry says, hi, guys, looks like fun. Paul Green also says, hi, Ray Anderson. Mike Miller's watching, and Sue Holstein, of course, says, howdy, friends. Liz Hodson, hello, Ray. Cormac Redmond, hi from Wexford, Ireland. Boy, it's always great to hear from somebody overseas, and that what a beautiful place. Jerry says, Magic Apple 2020 is magical next week. Plenty of social distancing in Colon, but that's not hard. And let's see, Michael Collins is watching. Mark Holstein says, in Colon, Kitty loaded in and set up all of the illusions all by herself. And she's pretty damn strong. And some of you may know that Mark is the stage manager for the Abbott's get-together. Mark Squires and Jeff Lanes are watching. Todd McKinney. And Sue Holstein said, I'm gymnastically trained, box jumper as well. She is an excellent one. Hey, Nick Lewin is watching, just down the street from you then, Ray. Jeff says, Kitty is way more than a box jumper. Yes, you are. I didn't mean to put you in a box. Okay. But yeah, thank you. And Jeff Lane said that FIIFF was good fun. John Michael's watching. Cheers from Nick Lewin. John Michael, hello, Ray. Great to see you. Eric Schmidt, hello from Michigan. Joe Presto, hello, everyone. John Michael was finally able to catch the show last year. Perfection. Peter Brown says hello. And Mark Holstein loves Cynthia, wonderful fundraiser. Terry Ward's watching. Craig Riles. And Jeff Horton's watching. John Custer says hello from Michigan. Rebecca Greenshaw, love you, Ray. And Jeff Horton says hello, Scott. Greetings from Connecticut. So it's great hearing and seeing some of these people over here. So did you get your sound working over there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm good now.
So my question was, after I read all that, giving you plenty of time, of whether that you have other people who are assistants that are featured. Let's say like Adele Reinfish, or I can't pronounce her last name. Reindress. With the Blackstone show. Do you have other people, like who are assistants who are featured, or is there at the Museum of Magic?
We have a million pieces of paper in the file cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of magicians who had their spouses or they have assistants. I would show you over in the archive a rare picture of Houdini and his wife, of course, who was his assistant.
Yes.
But looking around the walls, you can see some of the posters have assistants, and I generally will talk about those if I ever give a tour.
Yes.
Quite often it's the magician that's featured.
I want to talk about that, but before we go any further, then speaking of assistants and working with Lance Burton and also with his things, that there are some pretty cool things that are available that we're going to be giving away as prizes. So I thank you guys very much for tuning in, because we're going to have some pretty cool prizes here this evening that we're going to be offering. Thanks to Lance Burton and also to Kitty for helping with this. And they're going to be two different prize packages. And let me show you the first one over here to begin with. That if I've got this, let's see. Can everybody see that okay? There we go. Kitty, do you want to talk about this to begin with, about what this package is?
This is going to be the assistance pack, and what it is that is a pair of socks. So when they're on your feet, you put them together, they make that cute bunny rabbit.
That's cute right there. Yeah.
The luggage tag, because it's when you're in magic, it's always an adventure to go out on the road. And then next to that are some magic wands that we truly do need. Makeup brushes.
Makeup brushes, okay.
Yep, makeup,
Cool.
magic wand makeup brushes. And then next to that is a unicorn makeup brush cleaner. and then a tank top, which has one of my favorite sayings, the two greatest mysteries of life. Where did these bruises come from, and where do all the bobby pins go?
That's great. So that's going to be one package. And then the other one is this one.
This is for the magician, because we had to have a little something for them. A Lance Burton and Friends poster with all of the cast on it. One of Lance Burton's 2-card mysteries. And then you can kind of see it there in the middle. I have it here. I can show you. It's a little hand statue. It's like a manipulating hand, and it's got a little ball.
Okay. Is that what this is up over here? I see kind of in that area. Okay, let me,
Yeah.
Okay, get back over here then to you. Do you want to show that again?
It looks like this.
Oh, I see. Very neat.
So,
oh, it comes back out. So what is the ball, like a stress ball or something?
no, it is a high bounce ball.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, like a super ball or something. All right,
It
well,
was proportionate.
this is going to be available just during this time to you people who are watching this and tuned in right now. It's not going to be later. So the idea is that, thank you, Kitty, for offering these. And those 2 packages are going to be available for people who, all you have to do is to post a picture, take a selfie of you watching this podcast, or rather, I'm sorry, this video then right now. Take a selfie holding a drink or something. So this way that you are enjoying it. Doesn't matter if it's got a glass of water, a bottle of water, just something in which that you are enjoying this food or something. And something, the more creative, the better chance you're going to have of winning something over here. But the idea is trying to have something that shows that you're having some fun and you're enjoying watching this as well. And those 2 people will be selected, and Kitty will send that to you, postage-free compliments of her and of Lance Burton. And let me also say that it's just going to be for those domestically. So I'm sorry, the one from Ireland is not going to be shipped overseas because it's just the foreign postage is just, yeah, sorry, it's sad. It takes too much, it's very costly, unless you want to reimburse for postage for this. And if so, then maybe you might work out something then with Kitty. But the main thing is this is going to be offered for you. Now, how do you do this? Once you take your selfie, all you have to do is to tag it with the hashtag #TheMagicWordPodcast. Hashtag #TheMagicWordPodcast. Put that on either Instagram and or Facebook. And Trixie Bond is going to be helping me, and she's here. This is her home we're in right now. That's the bar behind me, and you can see Zelda, who's sitting at the bar. She's ever present. Anyhow, the idea is that if you will just hashtag #TheMagicWordPodcast with that selfie, then she'll take a look at those, and then those will be awarded at the end. Thanks to Kitty over there. That looks like just a delicious drink. You need an umbrella with that drink or something. It's what that looks like, you know, one of those tropical things that should be on the beach with Paul Kozak, you know.
I know Keith was very much, you need something fancy. And I was like, but I like my Jaeger.
The Jaeger's not bad. That's right. So we're back over then. We're saying, Jeffrey, as far as some of the assistants and things, show me the rare photo of the Houdini and Bess assistant thing. Is that convenient? You can show that now, or?
I will as I walk over to the other building.
Okay.
I don't think you ever were at the other building, were you?
I was, yes, because they had a flood downstairs, as I recall, and some of the things had been moved, and so they hadn't been put back up, but it was around that, just shortly after the flood, many years ago.
Okay. Years ago, yeah.
I have a little something to say while he's walking, if that's all right.
Sure.
You were talking about and asking him if there was any famous box jumpers or assistants on the walls. And usually it's the magician that's featured, and you have no idea who that random person is standing in whatever outfit behind them. Part of this job, and something that if you're really good at this job that you have to understand, is that it's like being a mom. It's like one of those kind of thankless jobs, but in the end, you really do shine. I mean, people don't know my name when they walk in, but when they leave, they do.
Yeah. You know, there have been a lot of magician's assistants that have gained notoriety. Moyo Miller comes to mind from Dante.
Oh, yeah.
And
Exactly.
she was very heavily featured in his advertising. There were also some male assistants over the years that also gained notoriety. So there have been assistants that have also had billing as part of the advertising for the show over the years. And in fact, Alana had billing at Esther's as my partner, as my stage partner, which was the first time that I ever did that.
Wow. Now, when you say has billing, I mean, you guys don't have posters, or she's just in the program or something? I mean, I don't remember being a
She's on
program.
the program, but also on posters. Yeah, she's the only one that I've ever had that we worked together so exclusively that she finally became really my stage partner. And
When
so
I
had her name on it as well.
when I record my podcast, that in my room I've got 3 or 4 posters. I've got Darren Brown and Norgel, and I've got you, and one that you had signed to me, and it was an older poster, I think, and that it was just such a sweet sentiment that you had written on there. But it was floating someone, but it didn't mention her name. Must have been one of your earlier posters.
That's probably Alana. It's that fountain levitation poster.
Yes, was Fountain Levitation.
Yeah, that's from when she and I first started working together. So that poster's from quite a while back.
Yeah. Now, Jeffrey, you're showing us a little bit of over here. What are we seeing right now?
This is a picture of Virgil's poster with Julie.
Oh, that's right.
Julie, Sweetheart of Magic. So there's one instance where they kind of have a similar billing on this poster, and then there's one up above. This is almost 12 feet above me, so it's very hard to see that one, but you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's in the main area on the first floor when you come into the museum, correct?
Right. And then I was going to show you the palanquin, which is the Blackstone Jam Illusion. Several assistants would get in here.
How many?
Up to 3, I heard.
Wow.
They actually call it the Jam Illusion. And the crate we still have the crate for it too, Jam.
I think as Kitty's looking.
Like each other.
What?
I said 3 would fit, but you got to like each other.
Yeah. Right. That's right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll mute the video and I'll go over to the archive if you want. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in here that you want to see other than lots of posts. I'll just walk through here and show you.
Yeah, just walk through and you can kind of give us a quick tour as you're kind of doing that. That looks awesome.
These are all original posters. One of my favorites is the Houdini Challenge.
Every magician on here is going, I got that one. Okay, I need that one.
got it, need it.
They don't have this one. Kia Khan, Indian juggler. He extracts a common hen's egg from a live cat. How about that poster? This is the 19th century. On Friday, March 15th, 1822.
Wow.
So he would perform this act, and they'd say, well, I didn't see you pull an egg from the cat. And he said, well, that was Tuesday night. And some of the Houdini material. My favorite piece in here are Houdini's needles and thread in the back there in the box.
Peter Brown had said, we're talking about that jammed illusion. He said, they're jammed in there all right.
Yeah. This is an interesting Blackstone poster with some of his entourage.
You know, I've seen this poster occasionally where he has actually drawn his little picture, his photo, I mean, his picture in there. You know what I'm talking about? Is this one signed by him?
Yes, his signature, yeah. And then this is Keller's poster with his
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Sailor and the Witch, the Sailor, and the Enchanted Monkey, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, here's an interesting poster. This is from Doug Henning's first television special. and he has assistants in it. May I turn this just for a moment? I'll show you the full length here.
I have that hanging in my house also. I look at every day. I remember buying that for $25 from Lou Jacobs.
It's not 25 now, right?
You're right.
This is an interesting piece. I don't think you've seen this, Scott, because this was delivered about a year and a half ago. It was sitting on our step here at the museum when we came in. Somebody dropped it off. We have no idea where it came from, but it's a brick from the Garrick Theater. The Garrick Theater is where Houdini was performing the night he got sick and then was sent to the hospital in Detroit, and there he died.
On October 31st?
Another interesting fact, the 31st of October, yeah. And that's the same week that Elaine Lund was born in the same hospital.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great story. Yeah, she told that story. Let's see.
You know, that guillotine, by the way,
Oh,
I was going to say on that guillotine, I've actually, years ago, I went, the very first Abbott's get-together I went over to the museum, and Bob Lund gave me a private tour. And there was another fellow who was a juggler, and I've forgotten his name right now, but I made a video, and it's actually on the website. I can put a link to this, but he stuck, this juggler, a friend of mine, who put his head in there, and then Bob Lund performed that, you know, with him, which was kind of cool. And
Phil Haggerty, one of the local. Phil Haggerty, one of the local guys here, helped him build that.
Huh.
I was going to tell you know the La Grande Beach show. There's the statue from the lobby of the theater.
I remember that so
there's
well.
Two of these.
Oh, there's two. Who has the other one?
300 and some pounds.
Now, was that a cutting in half? I saw on the other side, was that a cutting in half?
Okay, I'll spin this around. This is a sawing in half, but it was designed for a saw blade commercial. This is not the effect. You can't do the trick with this. That's basically two card tables with a box sitting on it.
Two card tables, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know what I mean. That's all I'm going to say. I was, so the La Grande Beach show, and many of the posters from that.
Jeff, do you know who owns the second one? You say that you have one. Who has the other one of those Grand David show?
Somebody told me that. The only person I know that would know that for sure is Rick Heath.
Rick Heath, yeah. I've got that very poster right there in blue, signed by everybody, including Seth.
This is all signed also.
Yeah.
But the signatures are faded now. But if I get close, you can see the autographs in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is my favorite one here. It says the 4 5x8.
What does that mean?
One of the performers 2 years ago, and he told me that you had to be 5'8" to be in the show. How about that, Kitty?
You know, magic is the only thing in my life that I've really found that being my size has been so helpful, because I was a spokesmodel for a while and doing things like that. And they're like, you're too short, you're too small. And it's like, yes, a small jump for me.
Yeah. We've added a few other things too. We found Blackstone's top hat in the mix, so we brought that out.
Senior? Mm-hmm.
Senior? Yep, senior. And then there's the souvenir program from the Blackstone show.
I'm going to pause for just 1 second and say that I'm loving these selfies that are coming in. So if you remember, take your selfie with your drink and hashtag it. Yep,
remember that. Yes, hashtag it, The Magic Word Podcast, and you might win a great prize over there. We'll come back to that again a little bit later. Thanks, Kitty. Go ahead, Jeff.
Of course, of course, there's Thurston's assistant too, and co-magician, his daughter Jane. Jane Thurston is one of our heroes of magic, women in magic.
She was on the she had her own throwing card. I mean, Howard, right there you have it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have that in the hallway. I have that mounted in the hallway, so if you flip it over,
too.
it's got both of theirs.
Yes, she's on there, and he did one by himself. I'll try to, I don't know if I can do this. If you hear things crashing, that's me falling down. No. This is really the inside tour because I'm reaching in the cabinet. But
Wow.
we found this one recently. This is a Blackstone, excuse me, a Thurston rock. Have you ever seen that one?
Never seen that one. That's the side you should show. Wow. Huh.
That is the side I show.
Oh, you
The
did?
other
Okay.
one is the Jane. Yeah, the other one is
There's
Yes,
Jane.
that's the one I've
that
got.
Kitty has, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thurston used to throw those out during his show.
Yeah. Here's a picture too that's pretty interesting.
Wow, look at those ladies. What illusion is that?
I can't answer that. We don't have it.
Ray, do you know?
Don't know.
I can't get a really good look at it, unfortunately. I can't see what it is offhand. Too early for a bump box.
Like $1 million mystery?
Right.
That could be $1 million mystery.
yeah.
All those ladies, that makes sense.
I don't possibly. I love the photo. It looks like it could be an Esther's musical number.
Right, right. They all jump in the swimming pool. Is that it?
Yeah, that's
I'm
exactly.
not that strong, Esther. This is the last known photo of the entire cast. I got a little shadow there, but
From the Thurston show, which would have been, what,
Yeah.
1936? Or what year would that have been, actually, approximately?
this is the Steel Pier in Atlantic City, 34.
34.
I always love the pictures of cast and crew, and I always try to make sure that I take one, because when you're doing a large show, no matter whose name is on the billboard, it always takes a bunch of people to make it happen and to make it beautiful.
We take a huge photo every year at New Year's in front of the numbers that come down for New Year's Eve. And it has everybody cast, crew, front of the house. It takes, believe it or not, I think we have at least 50 employees. Those are part-time, of course, but it takes a lot of people to make me look good.
Well, you do look good. That's why you're my favorite magician. I've said that forever, as you know.
I always say make friends with the lighting guy, because he'll make you look 50 or he'll make you look 20.
Speaking of which, David McGee said, "Ray, that can't be you. You let your hair go gray."
Oh, I know. It's so funny. People don't recognize me around town a lot of times anymore because I also wear a mask. And so I'll go into places, periodically like Home Depot or something. And your voice sounds so familiar as I'm talking to somebody who's trying to help me.
That's
And
great.
people aren't recognizing me. I think CJ
here's
didn't even
Mandrake
recognize me. I went to Ramon's funeral a couple of weeks back, and CJ was there as well, and he didn't recognize me.
I think that was Monday. That was just this last week, wasn't it, for Ramon Galindo?
Yes.
Yeah,
2
that was
weeks ago.
at Kent Cummins' place.
No, it was at a funeral home. They did it online as well, but I felt compelled to go, and it was all socially distanced, and it was really quite nice. I wasn't sure what to expect because I haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
Except go to Home Depot, go to HEB. That's about it. And so I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but it was very well done. And
Did they have a pretty good turnout, though, despite the social distancing and everything?
No, most everybody watched it online. There weren't a lot of people there, which of course would have been had the circumstances been different.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, Ramon Galindo was the progenitor, really, of parakeet magic. You know, he was the person who really started all that, and he was a tailor, and he lived for 99 years. He almost made it to 100. What a guy! He lived there in San Antonio.
Quite the Renaissance man, really.
Really was. Yeah.
He was in World War II. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge. Started his own tailor shop and made suits also for LBJ and Harry Blackstone Jr. and lots of people. A fascinating guy with a long, wonderful history, and he is sorely missed in the Austin magic community.
Quick note, by the way, that Jeff Lanes was asking whether anyone heard from David Bull lately. Last I talked with David, I think he was doing some acting, actually. And Mark Holstein says, not the $1 million mystery, probably a mirror box. Ben Jackson's watching. Yeah.
There's actually photos of the $1 million mystery that he used. So, and I believe that the actual prop still exists. So we know what that looks like. But a mirror box is probably a pretty good guess.
Trixie said also that Ramon Galindo's Broken Wand ceremony was Monday. I'm sorry, what did you say, Jeff?
I think that's probably what it was, some kind of mirror box. This is our latest display. We put this in at the end of last year. It's the first kit from the Chavez School of Magic.
Oh, the first kit. Wow. From Ben Chavez and Marion? What was her name?
Yes, Marion. And we found, well, he found us, one of the first graduates. So there's their graduation photo.
Wow. What year would that have been then,
Jeff? Magic school that allowed for the GI Bill. What's that?
What year would that have been?
43.
Okay.
They started in 41. They started the Chavez School of or College of Magic in 1941.
And that was a mail order school, right?
Well, you did go there. You went. It was in LA, and you could go there and get their training. This guy's name was Herb Nealand, and he was telling us that Marion was the tougher of the two.
Oh, really?
On Fridays they would have to perform for them, and she would really give it to them. And by the way, his school friends, or during the time that he was there, was none other than Neil Foster.
Huh.
Was Neil Foster at the same time was a student with Herb, our guy that gave us the kit.
Ray, were you a Chavez graduate?
No. I grew up in a little baby Texas town and self-taught. I learned from books from the local library. I never even saw another magician perform live till I was 16.
Wow. Where did you learn your floating cane?
I picked that up years later. I think I was at a magic convention and saw somebody do it when I was a kid. I went to that TAOM in Houston, the one where somebody got shot.
Oh, that was down in it was in Dallas. Wow. Yeah, yes.
No, the one in Dallas was the one where the guy jumped off the roof.
That was another Dallas convention, but no, you're right. It was in Houston. It was in the TAOM where the guy was shot was in Houston at the Hyatt Hotel. You're right.
Yeah, that was my very first convention. We know how to put on conventions here in Texas. And,
yeah. Weird that we're like comparing the date to like the homicide or tragic thing.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Right.
And actually, that's how I met John Mooring. I was driving into Dallas for the TAOM, and it was the first time I had ever driven anywhere by myself. And as I was pulling up to the hotel, the guy jumped off the roof and fell through the skylight just as I was pulling up.
Yeah, and that was at the beginning of the convention. That's right. That was the opening event.
That was the beginning of the convention. And so later, about 2 days later, I decided I wanted to go up and see where the guy had jumped off from. And I went up there, and John Mooring was sitting on the edge of the building there, looking down.
What?
just, he was curious too. And that's how I met John.
Well,
Just,
as I understand that this guy was not a magician. He was someone else, and he was not even a guest at the hotel.
Right, he wasn't even associated with
He
it.
was despondent over his girlfriend leaving him. As I understand, he walked into the elevator and he was asking someone, how do I get to the penthouse or to the roof? And somebody told him, and he went up.
I think I was 17, maybe 18. So it was pretty shocking to me.
Jeffrey, I see you got a picture of Neil Foster there.
No, this is Jack Codell.
Oh, Jack Codell.
And Ray mentioned somebody. Yeah. He did the parakeet act also.
That's right. I've forgotten that.
On ice skates. I just wanted to show you this back room. This is the closet. Used to have his books, Bob's books. Now there's over 500 magic kits in here.
500.
These are all magic sets.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll see two of particular one, like this set here. They're not the same. There might be a printing difference. So he would get the other one to make sure that he got it. Same, like those are all different. Even though they're the same magic set, there might be a change of wording or something, and he gets it.
Well, that's true. On the recent Collector's Corner that David Sandy and Lance Rich have, I have the Sneaky Pete's magic kit. That was my first magic kit. And someone was showing that, and they had different things in there. It was still called Sneaky Pete's, but apparently, as you said, that they have different props in each of those little boxes. And so that's interesting.
Here's one prominently displayed. Victor and Diamonds.
Huh.
Victor sent me their gloves from one of their shows.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Victor's a great guy.
Yes, he is. Is that a Houdini statue right next to him there?
That is Dunninger's bust.
Dunninger. I've never seen a Dunninger bust.
Yeah, it's pretty big too. There's my hand.
Wow, that is pretty good. That's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Huh. Just a reminder for those who are tuning in right now, just about what Kitty was saying earlier, make sure that you post a picture of yourself with your favorite libation in some creative way and post it on hashtag #TheMagicWordPodcast, #TheMagicWordPodcast on Instagram or on Facebook. And shortly we will draw a prize winner. And we're let me just quickly, for those who may have missed that a little bit earlier, I'm going to quickly show this, and then we'll get right back to the fun time. So that is one of the packages that you're going to be receiving, which is it's a poster, and also there's a hand holding a globe. You explain that real quickly, Kitty.
It's a manipulating hand. It's a hand that has the ball sitting in it. There's a poster of the entire cast and crew of the Lance Burton and Friends show, and one of Lance Burton's 2-card mystery.
And then over here, the second thing is really more for the ladies or the assistants. And so you're going to be getting a pair of socks, a tank top, and some makeup brushes that are magic wands, and makeup unicorn cleaner over here then also. So that's kind of cool what you're going to get. So again, if you'll just post a picture of yourself, do a selfie, that is the hashtag #TheMagicWordPodcast. And Trixie Bond is downstairs, and she's looking at that then right now, and she'll come up soon and say who the winner is. So this will be for those who are watching this then right now. Back to you, Jeff. Looks like that you've got something else. What are we looking at now?
This is the new exhibit. Brought out some of those kits. So you can see that there's a Command from Uncle up there, a Blackstone kit.
It was a Man from Uncle magic kit?
Right there.
Huh, I never knew that. I love that show.
If you go to the museum Facebook page, I opened that box.
Wait a minute. There's a
video.
007. There's a 007 magic kit?
Yeah.
I never knew
right
that.
Here, James Bond 007.
You know, that was that means so much to me because I actually named my son Sean after Sean Connery right there. I mean, I am really into 007. I did not know that. I still have all my baseball cards from 007 and T-shirt and all this stuff from whenever I was a kid. I never saw that. Wow.
It's a Gilbert toy, and it's in a briefcase.
Yeah. Well, I've got the briefcase, but I don't have the tricks. That's amazing.
This is my favorite one. Discovered this and showed it on the Magic Collectors group. This is a magic kit from England that unfolds.
Unfolds. That's different.
And that's from the 20s. Yeah, it opens like a flower.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it a lot. And then some Shepherd pieces. Shepherd was, designed Aikido type illusions. And then
Nick Lewin said he had that 007
my favorite one
kit.
of this
Wow.
my favorite one of this is he actually painted Bob and Elaine on the knob of this one.
Oh, that's great.
And whose was that?
Yeah. These are Shepherd out of Ohio. He painted his illusions just like the Aikido stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then we're working on this one right now. Conklins, the Amazing Conklins were a kind of a local magic group family.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that host some of the parties during the Abbott's Get Together. But this is one of their trunk and their dollhouse from their show. Yeah.
Now, are we in the other building? Are we in the other building?
I'm going to go there now.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We're
so what
still
are we
in
looking
the
at?
museum. We're on the second floor.
Wow. Okay.
This is Senior Ray.
Yep. Hey, Ray. There's your outfit. You look good in that.
Yeah.
Or the amazing.
And then Penn and Teller. Teller brought these to us one time. The Penn and Teller suit. So I'm going to walk over to the other building.
Okay, go ahead and mute that. And I want to get about. Okay. And I want to get over to Ray to talk a little bit about Esther's Follies. So tell me some of the history of Esther's Follies. I mean, you've been there for over 35 years. Is that right?
That's right.
And as such, you only add like a couple of things a year, to your show. I mean, did you pretty much do the same thing every week?
The show is ever changing. It's not like we just set a show for a year and then change everything the next year. We do, it's sort of ever changing. And so as we include things, we get some things out. And of course, large part of our show is topical. So it's of the moment. So, so something that might be hot for a couple of weeks that then loses its flavor, especially in the news cycles of today. Things turn over a lot faster, so we might have something that's only in for a couple of weeks. And then...
It's very much like Saturday Night Live, where they are talking about whatever that the news that's hot for that week that happens. And you happen to live in Austin, Texas, which is the capital of Texas, that has a lot of things that are going on. And of course, University of Texas, and you're kind of in the heart of America right there. And so it's a lot of things are happening. And so you guys, I guess they go into the write, and everyone is a writer. Is that right? Every one of the performers are writers?
Well, everybody has their input. We have a head writer who's been with us for 12 years who's not in the show.
Oh, he's not?
Steve Yarnowski, yeah. And then we have some people in the cast that are writers. Sean Brannigan, Ted is a writer. Then trying to think, everybody writes to some degree. I mean, Rachel Palante writes things for our show, as well as stuff that we're doing online now. Right now we have a Patreon page for our fans that we're making videos instead of doing a show. And if you go over to Esther'sFollies.com, you can see a sampling of some of the videos that we put out. So we still have writers meetings every week. It's just a shame that we can't you know, put them up on stage because there's so much going on in the news right now.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, so that's heartbreaking to me because there's so many things that I would like to see come to fruition and put on stage. Video is not our forte, but we're getting much better at it very rapidly. It's just taken us, you know, there's a learning curve there. But
well, people want to, if they want to watch
really
something,
funny.
if they want to watch something on Esther's Follies, is there a website that they can go to, or?
Right, go to estersfollies.com, and there's for our Patreon page, and that'll take you right to it. And it has all kinds of things. It has current events and things about life with COVID. You know, musical numbers about it, as well as sketches. We have the Trump-Fauci briefings that we put up. We have that are our versions of those, and then we also do some old video from back in the day. Like you'll see illusions on there that I haven't done in many years that maybe were some of your favorites that got taken out over time, and many of those are on there for you to take a look at, as well as classic sketches from yesterday. So
no, I know, content. Like with Patreon, like with people who are patrons of the Magic Word podcast who go through Patreon, that there are different perks and different levels that you can have. So is that the same thing, that if you pay so much?
Yeah, it's only $5 for the month, I think, to join. There's certainly more than enough content for that. And then I think they have different levels for, you know, depending on, you can be a special donor of some kind. Then it has extra perks and T-shirts and probably autographed books. Esther's Follies has a book about the show, and maybe the whole cast will sign a book for people that are on some of the on the upper levels and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. It really is. You just never know what's going to be on there. So we're still keeping the writing going.
I have to say, one of my favorite things about Esther's Follies is that it is like Saturday Night Live back in the day. It's not one-sided. You make fun of everybody and everything. And it's an incredibly good time.
We're more than happy to make fun of anybody who messes up. We don't care what side it is, but we definitely have a liberal slant. Austin is a very liberal city here in Texas. It's a little blue dot in a big red state. So, and then we have the Texas legislature here, as well as our governor who lives here in Austin. It's, you know, since we're the capital, but we definitely take a more leftist slant, I think, with our humor. But we are more than happy to make fun of the lefties too, if they do something that they should be made fun of.
It needs to be, exactly. Yeah. That is great. Okay, so Jeff, I'm sorry, what's that?
Beautiful Blackstone poster.
Yes, I've never seen that one before, Jeff.
This is a one of a kind, of course. We copied this and we have it on stretched canvas for members of the museum. For $100, you become a member of the museum, and we send you a copy of this. It's interesting because this is hand painted.
What's the size of that you will receive?
16 by about 25. Oh, okay. The one that you get is I'll show you if we go back to the museum. It's about half the size.
Speaking, going back to the museum, that both Sue and
maybe 11 by.
Sue and Mark Holstein had asked about if you had Dorney's dollhouse.
Yeah.
Is that back in the other building also?
No, some of that stuff's over here.
Okay.
I was going to point out that this is hand painted because originally, for whatever show, they had this, and then they put his face over the top of the poster. So you can see this leg coming up the back of that poster. And the assistant, before it was the butterfly, or the moth, the elusive moth, early picture from that. Couldn't resist, I brought this one in. There's a magician and his assistant.
That's you. Who's that with you?
That's my assistant. Her name is Imani.
Lovely.
I always say, how did this get here? But it's because I just brought it in.
Jeffrey, how long have you been working together?
A year and a half.
All right.
I'm glad you didn't ask me how.
So
Go ahead.
when it comes to us, we have 4 girls, and a lot of people use one girl or they'll use multiple girls. When you use a girl, do you find that there are tricks that are better suited for a certain girl, or do you pretty much a one-size-fits-all kind of thing?
No, that's where I'm really lucky because I have an entire cast to draw from. And although most of the people in the cast have some dance training, a lot of them are not trained dancers, but I find a lot of times that actresses or actors make great assistants because they have so much personality as well. I would put you in that category for sure. And so, you know, I'm able to sort of tailor it. A lot of times I'll even think of an illusion that I might want to do because of somebody in the cast. Like if I just want to work with them, I'll start thinking about, you know, something that we could do together. And many years ago when I first started the Amazing Frank routine, which is my alter ego guy, in my early days, I used to, you know, like so many magicians' mindsets, I thought that, you know, assistants had to be like a certain type and size and even gender. And there was a wonderful woman in our show named Margaret Wiley, who was what we would call a plus size girl. And she was the star of the show. And she wanted to do an act with me. And I resisted it at first. And it was because of my own prejudices of the way that I was brought up in the magic world. But finally, we ended up doing a routine together, which became the Amazing Frank and Kitten. So she was my very first assistant for the Amazing Frank. And it became an instant huge hit with the show. And it showed me that, that magicians' assistants, or as I like to call them, partners, can come in all shapes and sizes and gender, for that matter. And since then, I've used lots of different types of assistants just because we have lots of different types of people in our show. You know, since we're a comedy show, we like to have a variety of people, and I like to choose from that. When it comes to certain illusions, if I have like Alana and I, who worked together for so many years, she pretty much, you know, became my lead and partner there. And so she became sort of my muse. And so then I would try to find illusions that I thought would be great for her and I to do together, that sort of thing. But she's really the only one that I've ever had where I, you know, really just used her for the most part. Although the Amazing Frank has always used somebody else in the show. He never uses, you know, like someone that I am using in the show normally. It's usually one of the other ladies in the show.
And how many assistants has Frank used throughout the years?
Frank has probably had at least 10 assistants. So, yeah, he's not easy to work with, that Frank. But, you know, the thing about Frank is he's so tough on him that he always ends up getting it at the end, if you ever notice. Yeah. They always get him back.
A great character. We've been, as you've been talking, Jeff's been showing a bunch of great photos over here. So this is the picture you were talking about, I guess, with Bess as being Harry's assistant?
Yes, it is. And this is from a folder. We have a small file here of personal belongings of Bess. It's a long story, but we have them. And this was in there. Photograph of them. And then a rare photo here that says, "Do you know who this is, Beth? Do you know who this is?" This is, of course, Harry Houdini as a teenager.
As a teenager.
And I don't think they've ever seen that.
Well, if John Cox was watching, I would ask him, but I'm wondering, was he working in the locksmith shop back at that point, or the tie factory?
Well, it says, this is a proof of Eric. See that?
Yep. Wow.
It's about 1880. It's 1884. And he writes, when I was in Budapest visiting with Ma in 1901, Uncle Quartz gave me this right there.
Yeah.
It's actually, it says taken 1887 from New York. So that's his handwriting right there on the back of this photo.
Quite a piece.
26. So he was born.
And then I really like this one.
He was born in 1874, right?
Yeah, so 1887, he would be 13 there.
Yes. Because he was born 26
And then I
years
really
before
like
the
this
turn
one.
of the century, and he died 26 years after. You know, it's 52 years, but the 1900s divided that exactly in half. He died at 52, like 52 cards in a deck. And so, you know, so 26 years prior to that, so it would have been 74. Yeah. When he's born.
This is dated 1914 from England. And I love the inside of this little greeting card with their pictures.
That's best.
Yes. And then this one was also among the best Houdini material, or is, not it was. This is a photograph of Beth's niece. If I can get a better picture of that.
That was his niece?
Yeah.
What year was that then, Jeff? 20.
Julia. Yeah.
Huh.
Houdini's niece. And this photo is taken from the early 20s. She died at 56 years old. So she's a teen here, maybe. I don't know. Isn't it funny? I see pictures of my mother when she was 14. She looks like she's 40. Not because she looks old, but because my mom is older, right?
I had a question. How many illusions are you guys doing in your show? The show that you were doing with Lance Burton and Friends.
Let's see, the Lance Burton and Friends show we are doing.
Did you lock up?
About 9, I would say, about 9.
So that's a pretty decent sized show to be traveling with.
Yep, and then there's a few other things, smaller ones that I wouldn't call large illusions, but we're doing like Excalibur, which was in this original show. The teepee illusion, which is now going to be the circus illusion.
Right.
Right.
And then magic hands and quite a few of them. Yeah, I fill the trailer. There is very, very little room for anything. And we have a 46-foot trailer with a gooseneck. And I pack it pretty full.
Well, I hope to get to see it when everything gets started up again. And you know how much I love fielding too, so.
Speaking of fielding, by the way, fielding is going to be on for next week. You know, you guys are great, and this is wonderful. I'm going to also, next week, each week I have different guests. This is the 11th one, the week I've done this. Next week will be week number 12, and fielding, Wes is going to be my guest, along with Les Arnold. And also, I'm going to be having Matt Stanley, who will be in Colon, Michigan, giving us an update on what's happening in Colon, since they're not having the get-together this year. So talk a little bit about that then too. But yeah, I'm anxious to see the show once again. You guys haven't ever been down to Houston, I don't think, or in Texas at all, have you, Kitty?
We have not. We are planning on doing it sometime in the future. I think Keith does all of our bookings. But I have a cute story of Les Arnold real quick. There is a pair of steps that we have to an illusion. that he had for his niece or somebody that was like a child that would get in them and disappear. And he's like, I don't have anybody that fits in these anymore. And I was like, oh, he said the words. And I was like,
He challenged you.
and I will try. And
Yeah.
so he brought him down to the Magic Castle, and bam, fit in him. So I have a very nice pair of steps from Les Arnold because nobody else fits in them.
I see, by the way, Kitty, that behind you, you've got, looks like a poster of Billy McComb.
Yes, up at the top.
Yep. And the Magic Castle, obviously, below. What else have you got behind you? You've got several. Like I said, all of us seem to have some posters and things behind us here.
I will admit that every wall in this house is covered in posters, so there are a lot of them. Big Norm fan, got a lot of Norm's posters, but they're pretty much everywhere. That's the living room.
Wow,
So,
yes.
And I just buy one big one and then I'm done, so I don't have to worry about it.
they are in rolls behind the sofa because I do not have wall space. Right.
Well,
Yeah,
I love the one that you've got back there then, Ray, because I've got a George poster in my foyer. When people walk in, that's the first poster they see. And I think that he is an underappreciated magician.
Well, I don't know about his magical abilities, but I know his posters were absolutely beautiful. And though they're not rare by any means, they can be found. I think they're really absolutely beautiful. Some of the most beautiful magic posters I've ever seen. Two and then one being this billboard that's behind me. It's hard to believe that, you know, this could have ended somewhere advertising his show, but instead it's you know, sitting in my condo here. So
now,
it's pretty
Ray,
wild.
I do have a question for you. You said that you would make bits for your magic show for your assistant and kind of help build it around there. Now, do you also collaborate with your assistant? Because I know as an assistant that when I walk up to an illusion or whatnot, it's not just, oh, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get out. I have to think about costuming and if it's got tassels, if I'm going to get hung up, or if I'm shiny enough, or if I go along with the theme. Or
Right. Well, that's one of the benefits if you're working with someone who's been doing it a long time, like Alana was for so many years. Her input became invaluable, you know, to everything that we did. She included so much of herself and all of that. And yes, that includes costuming and timing and, you know, storyline, the whole thing. If I'm working with someone who maybe I haven't worked with before, I try to find their strengths, like what is it that they're good at, you know, and then whatever that is, I try to include them to give that back to me as feedback, so that, you know, we can incorporate that into the routine. So you know, it just depends if we've worked together a lot, if we haven't worked together at all. But I like working with the different people in the cast many times because it gives me the opportunity to really get to know them so much better. You know, I've always had my Tomas, not always, but for many, many years, my Tomas assistant, who is my male assistant that works with me during many of my routines. And I've had, you know, maybe 6, 7, 8 of those guys over the years, and we're all still very close, including all of my assistants that I've used over the years. And that's because you really get to know somebody when you're putting together a magic routine. It's close quarters. It's very intimate in so many ways, and you really get to know somebody by doing that. And so that many times it's like, oh, I want to get to know her better. So think of something that we can do together just so that we can spend time and learn. The other great thing about Esther's is that we have so many young people that come through our cast. And so they give me ideas that, you know, I'm getting older and might not have thought of, and try to, you know, they keep me a little bit more up to date. So that's another advantage.
How many shows
That's
do
one
you
of my-
do a week, by the way, Ray?
We've always done 5 shows a week. We write on Mondays, Tuesday and Wednesday rehearsals, Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows.
So,
So it's
so you
a
rehearse
5-day
these
work.
same illusions even though you're doing them all the time?
No, once an illusion is set, we're doing so many shows that
Yeah.
we don't have to rehearse them. But you know, we might have to do a touch-up thing if there's something going that's not quite right. As I know you know, it's the more people that you put into a routine, the more chances there are for things to go wrong. And therefore, you know, those are the ones that we probably rehearse more than, say, you know, a 2-person illusion. If it's an entire cast type show, then yeah, we're going to have to rehearse that every once in a while because things will be different, or maybe we get a new cast member in, or with our show, since it's ever changing, then the set list might change and someone might no longer be available to be a part of that. And so we had to train somebody else to be a part of it that's in the cast that's then free. So those are more the rehearsals that we do rather than set rehearsals, you know, every week, just rehearsing the illusions that we have in the show.
Now,
So-
we rehearse, and try to rehearse at least once a week, and we kind of rehearse and go through everything just once. But with ours, you guys have the privilege of you're always on the same stage.
Yeah,
What I would
yeah,
give, what
yeah.
I would give
Yeah,
to
I
set up
figured that
on
out a long time ago.
So we always run through everything at least at our pacing because we're always on a different stage.
Yeah, I would imagine that that's very difficult. I have very little experience with that. But then the other thing too about illusions is if you're traveling, then it's an illusion. So every time you pull it out of the box, there might be a repair of some kind. You just never know. And so there's also that. So
I have a Larry Dunbar, and that's all I need. I have a Larry Dunbar.
Yeah, we have a guy at our show as well, but I think that probably your experiences are a lot rougher than ours. Ours just gets pushed back in the same corner every night. So I see a Trixie.
Yeah, we saw Trixie's. We have a winner? Pictures aren't coming through? They're not? Oh, you weren't able to get that. Okay. So Kitty, I think Trixie just texted you. Also, if you would take a look at those hashtags and tell me who the winners are.
I am not all that tech savvy, and I am on Zoom on my phone right now.
Okay.
So
All right.
we will post them on your website if we can't manage to get some names while we're still on air. But there are 2 lucky winners somewhere.
That's right. There are 2 lucky winners. And I'm going to try and look up a couple of things here as well. And while we're doing that, Jeffrey, I'm going to come back over there then to you, and then I'm going to mute myself for a moment while Jeff, you, and Ray and Kitty talk for just a moment.
One of the major strengths of this museum is the vertical file. And Bob has collected thousands of pieces of ephemera on magicians in these filing cabinets.
Do you have to know the Dewey Decimal Point system?
No, it's all alphabetical by the last name of the person. If you're performing before 1995, you're probably in here. Now, for example, Thurston, instead of a file, has an entire drawer. So all of these are Thurston items. Some very interesting pictures in the Thurston collection. This is one that you probably haven't seen before.
Oh, that's great.
And this is not a reproduction. It's the original photo from that time. And they go like this. He also got the entire Desfor collection. So all of the Irving Desfor photographs and negatives are at this museum.
Wow.
This is Bill Neff performing.
Show us the lady magicians.
Where's the lady magician? This is probably the biggest prize in here. And that's the 3-sheet from the magic show. Doug, show you how big this thing is.
Wow.
I'm 5'9", and this is.
Was this out in front of the posted?
Yeah, and I believe that this is the only one.
Wow.
I've been told it's the only one known.
I know that Chip Romero has one poster that was out in front of the building, but I don't believe it's a 3-sheet.
Right. He told me personally this is the only one that he knows of.
Yeah.
In the 3-sheet. So that's why I was able to say that with some confidence. We also right here, this is Akito's table. And that's over here in the archive. And this is all part of what I call the Magicians Only tour. So if you come to the museum, you get the Magicians Only tour.
I see a Germain
Or the not.
poster.
Yeah, the Germain, that's a real Germain behind there, yeah.
Peeking out. Oh, yes. One of my favorite posters.
The closet that has the magic kits in it, found a trick that Germain did when he was a kid. It's in an envelope. On the outside of the envelope, it says this was built when he was a boy. It's some kind of a card that grows. It's a growing playing card. It's pretty cool. You have to come here now, Ray, to see it.
I definitely want to come. And I saw that you had a Houdini there as well.
Yes, this is an original fabric poster. You know, this was reprinted, the King of Cards. This one's got the Welsh Brothers logo on the top.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So that is an original?
This is the real deal right here. Yeah. Yep. How about
Okay,
this one?
Who is that with him?
That's T. Nelson Downs.
Oh,
with
see,
Houdini.
okay.
And then I've got some pictures here of T. Nelson doing coins.
So one other thing, are you near Jeff, where that you can show the Discovery of Witchcraft book or books?
Yeah. Well, the Discovery of Witchcraft, the original 1585 or 1584 is back in the museum.
Oh,
I didn't show you that, but I can show you the other ones that are in the case.
the other ones. Yeah, you got several. There you go.
This is interesting. This is Conjurer's magazine, 1792, and Bob used to take these to conventions and have them sign on the inside, so you can see the signatures in it.
Harry Reiser, wow. Charlie Miller.
Charlie Miller.
Died.
There's the Blackstone caricature that Scott was talking about earlier.
Right.
Blackstone. Jack Gwynn. There's a note from Jay Blackstone to Bob here. Goshman. Here's one copy of The Discovery of Witchcraft. This is a 1665, so just a slightly newer edition, but it's the real deal. Scott, this might be the one that you held on to.
No, the one I remember touching was actually it was black. It was an original edition.
These are coveted too. They're Thurston plate. We have this out for next week to show some stuff. The Thurston printing plates, print his programs. So it's a block plate. This is him with Lady Without a Middle, looking through the center of it when this is on paper. You might have seen that print.
Hmm.
And then here's our Lady Magician of the Year, Adelaide Herman.
There's the female magician.
The
Yeah.
one.
I think this is interesting.
Keith Sears, yeah.
Keith Theater, yeah. That's in Columbus, Ohio.
Well, I remember Houdini actually traveled on the Keith circuit.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Now here's another copy of that, it's another original of the King of Cards. One of the friends of the museum was Will Rock. We have a number of his pieces. He got Thurston's show after Thurston. And in order to display his show, he had to include Thurston's name on his poster.
Hmm.
So I don't think you'll ever see Will Rock alone. There's a Chung Ling Soo original poster. Did I ever tell you Chung Ling Soo's real name was William Robinson, and I often wondered if he had a robot named, or if he had a robot that would have said "Danger, Will Robinson," he probably would have still been here.
That's funny. Okay, I get it. By the way, Ray, I wanted to mention Jim Monroe, who had mentioned over here, said Ray Anderson single-handedly inspired me to become the touring magician I was for years because of his wildly unique ability to bring magic to a place of an entertainment that piqued curiosity, laughter, and astonishment all equally. Never a better. Thank you, Ray.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Jim was a
Must
fellow
have caught me on a
who,
good night.
what?
He must have caught me on a good night.
Good night. Yeah, Jim is someone who had leukemia, and he was getting a stem cell replacement. And I was put in touch with him. Mark Holstein had hooked me up with him. And we started talking when Nick, my son, had leukemia and had to go through the same process. And so Jim and Nick got together, and Jim gave him some advice. And long story short, Nick is doing better. In fact, he is he's completely 100% cancer free right now. Not a cancer cell in his body. The stem cell replacement worked perfectly. Everything was fine, and he's still taking handfuls of pills a day, but he's doing great. So for those who have asked, by the way, thank you for your thoughts and prayers and for questioning about that too. Appreciate that. Well, okay, look, we're going to start to wrap up over here. So this has been nothing short of just fantastic and a really great romp through history and everything, and so many other things we talked about. And thank you also for posting your pictures. Trixie has been trying to download or find these hashtags, The Magic Word Podcast. I know that you got it. I know that they're out there. And so we will contact you. I'm not going to be able to tell you who the winners are, I guess, right now. But I want to make sure that those who are winners are going to be those who are living here domestically, because right now I want to make sure that they're going to, because Kitty's going to be sending them out postage free, and the foreign postage is pretty expensive. So it's just, if you are one of the people whose pictures that we select, then we will, she will send that out to you, and we'll contact her. So I'm sorry we can't tell you live who it is, who are the winners right now, but we can't seem to identify those hashtags for some reason. I don't know why they're not coming through, but it is The Magic Word Podcast. So I know that you guys are putting them up properly, and anyhow, so they're out there. So we'll get back to you. So listen, thank you again very much. I appreciate it. Thanks you, Jeff, very much for sharing. That was just a wonderful tour.
Wow.
I can't
wait
thank
to
you.
get out there to see it.
Yes. Yeah. And Kitty, that was just wonderful. Also, thank you so much for being part of this and offering the prizes, and also for telling us a little bit about the show and what all is going on. Ray, thanks for the history on some of the stuff, what's going on with Esther's in Austin right now. And it's great to see you, my friend.
All right.
Now, if you have any questions or anything like that, I will be live on TikTok after this. 10 minutes, and then you can find me on TikTok if you have any questions about being an assistant or anything like that, magic related. No.
Good point. And thank you very much. I'm glad you did say that. So if you go to TikTok for the next few minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So how do they contact you? Just go, what is it, Magic Assistant, or what is it?
I am Magic Box Babe. Magic Box Babe at TikTok.
Magic Box Babe at TikTok. And so you can ask her some questions about anything that you got that you want to know about being an assistant and jumping boxes and everything.
And if you personal message me anytime, I can be here in an hour and a half.
And thank you very much, Jeff.
Anytime.
That was great.
I'm at home watching Netflix, so.
So if you happen to be in the Marshall, Michigan area someplace, let him know at least a day in advance. And Jeff will be glad to come and make arrangements to be your host and give you a personalized tour that you will remember for the rest of your life. As I said, I'm still talking about that one that Bob Lund had done with me so many years ago. So you'll enjoy this with Jeff. Thank you so much for showing us around the museum over there, and hope to see more then later. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Kitty. And thank you, Ray.
Great
And
seeing
thank you, everybody, also for listening and for watching. This has been nothing short of fantastic. So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was hashtag the Magic Word Podcast. Hopefully you pick a couple of winners. This is Scotty out. Thank you.